And welcome to the Attitude Lounge. Salud. I need to take a little sip of water.
The Attitude Lounge, as if we don't have an attitude.
Yes, but attitudes are positive. Right?
We're trying.
I think sometimes that word, people use it more so in a negative content. And for me, it's the opposite. For me, it's the opposite because I feel like attitude is everything.
Right.
Gets you up in the morning.
Absolutely.
To go to work, to do it.
Yes,
absolutely. So, welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. I'm so excited.
I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Oh, there's nothing to be nervous about. I'm so excited because we had this scheduled, and you were on a nice trip, a little vacation, well deserved, and then.
Yeah, she went on a solo trip.
Holla, yes,
much needed.
Yes.
I wish she vlogged it, but she didn't want to.
No, you can do solo. Solo is good. I do solo all the time. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was the first time for me in a long time. So it was different, but it was much needed. Yeah. It was a form of TLC for myself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So, yes. So, no, but I want to say we're related first and foremost. You are my cousin, Ivette, and you are Yvette's daughter, my second cousin.
Yes.
But we have many things in common, not just being related. We also attend the same church. So, and we get to see each other, on Sunday. So, I always look forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about before about like your attitude and having something to get, let you get up every morning with joy. And I feel like for me, church is one of those things. Like, it's like, okay, the week is ending. I need a reboost so that I can get through, so I can get through the following week. Energizing, energizing your soul. And we can do that in many ways. But one of the reasons that I wanted to kind of chat with you guys is because my podcast is about living a life well lived, but doing it, with things that you enjoy. And we all have hobbies.
Right.
I know this is a hobby for me. Well, good, but I'm glad you have one now. Yeah. But this is a hobby for me. For some folks, it's actually like it could be a way to fund a project. It could be a way, and I've spoken about this in other podcasts, but for me, it's just a way to give voices to people from the community that are working hard, but never get recognized as well. But it gives me the opportunity to chat, chat with folks
and give people the exposure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But also to get to know them. I enjoy getting to know people. I'm an introvert, but I'm a kind of like little weird introvert because I actually enjoy being around people. Maybe not so much in a huge concert where you can't hear anything, but, because the music's so loud, but I do enjoy being around people.
Absolutely.
And, I said your name was Yvette, but, we all have we all have nicknames, and you go by Ruby. You're Zahira, but you go by Zai.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about what your current hobbies are, and let's start with that. Let's start with you, Ruby.
So for myself, it's crafting with a Cricut machine, so I can transfer vinyl onto shirts, all kinds of things. I could do, mugs, I could do shirts, I could do, you name it, anywhere that I could stick vinyl to. I could do heat transfer vinyl on cloth. I even learned how to do heat transfer vinyl onto wood. So it's just pretty much just getting into the computer. It's called Cricut Design Space. I go in there and I just create. One of the things that I enjoy the most, though, it's making T-shirts. I really enjoy,
Oh yeah.
She's.
Oh, look, me too.
They're rocking it. Yeah. So I enjoy doing that because I can put actually a T-shirt onto Cricut Design Space, and it'll give me like the scaling, how big or how small I want it to look on the shirt. So that's actually my favorite part of cricketing. I got started into it just, as a hobby. The Cricut machine was a gift. It was gifted to me with the whole purpose of giving me a hobby, something to do, because my life really revolves around my job, and I'm not much of a outgoing person. Like, I don't go out much. So it was like, okay, well, what do I do? And the person that gifted me the machine said, well, maybe this is a good way for you to get your creative juices going.
Yeah.
And you could do something that you enjoy. And I've actually enjoyed it a lot. So the projects that I do, I post them on my social media and people like them, and I've made them, for family, for friends.
Yeah.
And I'm always making stuff for myself too.
Right. One of the things that, like, I love t-shirts. And so when I found out that you were making some, I'm like, oh, this is nice to have someone that you can go to locally and immediately say, hey, I want this and I want that.
Yeah.
And design it to your liking.
Right.
And so, I love, I love, I don't know, I just love wearing t-shirts with different kind of messages, and I know, some people, it may not reach everybody, but I feel like, hey, at some point, it might reach somebody. It could be something that
I love to read shirts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Cups and everything. I'm so observant.
Yeah, because I've seen some of the shirts that you make, and some of them are, and I think you probably wore them too, like through suicide intervention month and so on forth. Yeah,
yes, I've made those. I have one also with. In fact, she has the logo on the back of her shirt. It's God is greater than the highs and lows. So I have that not just with the logo, but I also have the writing on some of the shirts. And I honestly even wear them to church. Church is very casual and very comfortable. I like to feel like I could go to church being myself. So I do wear t-shirts, and I normally wear the ones that I make at home. Everywhere I go. So if I travel, I always buy a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. That's my thing, like a t-shirt, sweatshirt, or hat.
Mm-hmm.
So
magnets. I love the magnets.
Yeah. So, that's one thing that now I'm doing for myself. Instead of buying t-shirts, for instance, when I went to Puerto Rico, my goal was returning from Puerto Rico. I wanted to wear one of my creations, and I made I made a big block shirt with the God is greater than the highs and lows. And I bought sneakers to match it. I was rocking it, and it was really cool. I actually got people asking me about both my shirt and my sneakers, so it got the attention that I was looking for.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in our family are creative.
Absolutely.
Creative. Come from a very creative family. Yes.
Creative juices. I feel like I tend to use both sides of the brain, because I'm very analytical, but I also like hands-on and. But for me, the creativity is like when I wear t-shirts, or when I wear I interview someone, and I hate to call it an interview because this is just a chat. It's not an interview. So someone who is started a cross-country journey from here, from Bethlehem to the West Coast.
Oh wow!
Solo.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, a young woman solo, and that's in one of my other episodes. And she's also an artist, but one of the things I feel like that you wear art. So I actually commissioned her to do some sneakers for me.
Oh, cool!
And I don't know if you've seen them, but they're like those, right?
Yes.
There's those, and when I wear that, I just feel like this is
unique,
and a unique design, and it's art, and I feel like I'm wearing her art,
right?
It's
and that's
special.
how I feel. Yes, and that's how I feel with the t-shirts. I'm wearing somebody's creation, and I'm supporting.
Yeah.
Because I think as people, we need to realize that there's enough to go around for everyone.
Absolutely.
And we should be supporting each other locally, especially locally. So one of the things I do, and I know probably I've spoken to you, Zai, a little bit about before, maybe we can jump into that a little bit and talk about what you do. But one of the things is I tend to go to a lot of fairs or flea markets, or anywhere where something's going on, where tables and vendors are. to learn about their craft, what they're doing, but also to see how I can support locally.
Yeah.
You know, festivals where they have maybe local vendors, like food trucks, you know, food tents, and, you know, right, why not go and support this person that probably is a very, maybe a healthier meal than going to one of the local fast food restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there's always more love in it too when you find a small business, I feel, and there's always
a lot of thought put into it.
So much thought and time. I know everyone spends time on everything, but I don't know, for something like small businesses, for me, I feel more love in what I get from them. Like, I just know that they took that time and they thought about it carefully, and it's really special.
Yes, I always feel like it's better to get something, right, that you make or somebody made that either was made for you specially or you just connect with that piece. And talking about that, we're going to talk about your side hustle, your current Cupid's, and it's Cupid's Jewels. And so it's your side hustle, but also like your hobby and your joy.
Yes.
And I just gotta open this up for the listeners. You know, I got these bracelets, and they're just beautiful. You're gonna see them on some of the content that I make for this episode. But I love owls because I belong to a sorority, and the mascot is an owl. Shout out to Chi Epsilon Sigma, National Latin Sorority Incorporated. Chi Ho.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. I love that.
But my beautiful cousin made me this beautiful bracelet with an owl, and it's just
what is the stone called again that you said? One of the stones?
So there's tiger's eye beads there, but then the other crystals, or the stone, I'm not too familiar with. I'm still doing my research on all the different kinds of crystals.
Yes, because every day is a learning experience. I mean,
there are so many beads, right?
Yeah,
I'm very observant. So when I was here the last time and we were talking about this, I noticed your owl on your table downstairs in the living room.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And I told Mom about it.
And look, my owl here too.
Yeah. And I said, I love that owl she has, and she's like, oh, that's like, well, the owl's real special to her. That's her sorority mascot. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
It is, and you know, and it represents two things, because I believe in education, whether it's through entrepreneurship or whether it's through college, because college is not for everyone, you know. But I believe that every day is a learning experience, and you can learn in so many different ways. And so for my sorority, with the sorority that I belong to, you know, owls represent wisdom throughout the years, but education as well. Yeah, you know, and so I appreciate this. This is beautiful, man. This is total. This is and the tiger eye, it keeps evil away.
Yes.
The listeners can't see, but I have a wrist full of them. I am probably one of her biggest supporters. So I'm rocking 2, 4.
I love those that say names on them. I love these. These are dope.
Those are my children's name, my grandchildren.
All of them are. They're beautiful.
Yeah. So I have a wrist full of them, and I have necklaces at home. So big supporter.
I really enjoy making jewelry. I want to say it started with my interest to it was when my grandma, Mama Chipa, she made jewelry when I was a kid. And so I used to just always sit and watch her, and she'd be on her chair, her rocking chair, just making her jewelry and watching TV. And she made such beautiful things. I still have bracelets that she made me when I was like 8 years old or 7, and they didn't fit me. And she's like, these are going to fit you when you're older. And now I still have them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So one day we were going to to a cabin for like a little getaway, a weekend
Mother's
trip.
Day weekend. Yep.
And I was like, how fun. Like, I was thinking of things to do when we're there. So I was like, let me get some beads and jewelry. Maybe we can make bracelets and just talk, drink some mimosas. And we had my nephew there too, so I wanted to keep him busy. And I was making them and I found so much joy in making them with each other and just like seeing what I can create after.
Right.
And from there, I started just doing it more at home. And then people started really complimenting my bracelets and the earrings I was wearing. And then it turned into this now. So I've been really doing this as like a side business. I do work full time, but I'm currently in school. So I took some time off. I'm going to be a medical assistant.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm doing that for a few months, and then I'm hoping to really, when I'm done with it and get into the job, God willing, everything goes good and I pass.
It will and you will.
Yes.
It will and you will.
But then from there, I want to get into, doing some markets, being a vendor.
Yes.
And spreading the word, and then my mom could make me some Cupid's Jewels merch.
Absolutely.
So we tie in.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Why don't one of you or chime in wherever you feel you need to. But let's talk about what I saw was I was on social media, and then I see this little box, and it's like, oh, we joined forces, and that little box that you guys created with your jewelry and then your T-shirts and tumbler. I think it was
mugs.
Mugs.
Yeah.
And
mugs and wine glasses.
Right. And then when I saw it, I'm like, oh wow, this is super cool. But what I like most is like, this is awesome because it's being created by a mother-daughter. So they're joining forces together to create something cool for somebody else. And that is what prompted me. I'm like, oh my God, let's talk, let's talk. And I think I grabbed you guys at church and I'm like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah. I was
board.
excited.
Actually it was her idea. And when it comes to, doing stuff with her, she knows I'm like her biggest supporter. I always got her back. And when she presented the idea, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I was like, I'm on board. Let's do it. So yeah, like she said, I made, I put permanent vinyl on mugs and on wine glasses. And then she added some of her jewelry. We also included other little things, I think.
Yeah.
Socks, right?
Yeah, socks. And then we put, there was like little fortunes that like said something positive on it.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to keep it positive. I love that. One of the things I plan on doing, and I know you guys put things also on your social media, but like, yeah, to just create additional positive messages for people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you could also like, put that within your creations, put the message within your creations and create content that way, because you guys create some beautiful things and you have good things to say too, or anything you hear, you share it.
Yeah. So like the shirts, like I told you, like a lot of the things that are put on the shirts are, the people's vision. I do a lot of personalization. So like right now, her older sister just hit me up. She wants me to make a onesies with the baby. She just had a baby, so she wants me to make the baby's names on them. And so I told her I would make them for her, and she should be dropping those off tomorrow. So I'm excited to make it because it's little onesies, but it's so much fun. Like I said, I super enjoy like making art on cloth, on shirts, on sweatshirts. Still have to venture off to make some hats. I'm like looking forward to doing that. I've made
pillowcases. I was telling her I wanted her to do some pillowcases for me.
It's totally cool.
What was it? I made cosmetic bags for like a Christmas present. So that
cute.
It comes in.
You did phone cases too.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it comes in handy. Even for 1 year for Christmas, all of the gifts had people's names, everybody's names, and they were all handmade, with my machine. I weeded and I put their names, everybody's names on the bags. So, it's fun. It's fun for me. It's also a way of like releasing stress, you know, and just kind of like zoning out into something that I'm doing. And normally I like to just be left alone because it's my time to kind of like just unwind and just focus on that. So it's it's not only a hobby, but it's also something that I do for myself to kind of like chill, relax.
Escape a little bit.
Yeah
To some degree, it's even part of your self-care.
Absolutely.
Like you enjoy doing this, so this is going to be my me time right now. Nobody bother me. Phone off. I'm just concentrating on this.
D&D.
I normally put like worship music. I listen to like R&B, but Christian R&B. I put it very low, and I just bring my drink,
Jealous.
my water, and I just sit there and I just do my thing, unless the dogs are like interrupting me. But for the most part, it's a very down Zen time for me, for me to sit there and just create and just.
I'm jealous in a good way, because you're having that time. I unfortunately can't put any music when I'm editing because I need to hear it.
Right.
So I'm jealous, because in a good way. So you are, because you're experiencing a very, Zen time doing your creation, where for me, I can't have any kind of music or anything going on because I'm editing. But I think that's great to have your space, and be like, it took me a while to have my space, like to be comfortable in my space, in the space that I create. And trust me, I have friends that their space is a corner.
Yeah.
You have a nice setup, and it's going to take some time.
It's so cute in here. It's comfy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the vibe.
Yeah, I like these chairs. I had to ask. So I might give a shout out to Gracie, my aunt Gracie, who I actually, this is was my mom's chair, and I had it, and I gave it to Gracie. And when I was gonna, do a dual interview, I'm like,
you did mention that
I don't have a third chair that's at the same level, because all my other chairs are high chairs, my dining room and everything. So that came to mind, and I was like, hey, can I borrow it? And so here we go. And then she said, oh, you can have it, because I don't really use it. And I was like, oh, so I'm hoping she didn't forget. She's like,
I don't think
it's an heirloom now. It's your mom, so
So
as far as what you were saying before about the setup, so I was working off of my dining room table.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need a better setup.
I think a lot of people start in their dining room table.
Yeah. So like I was working off the dining room table, and it worked for some time, but I just wanted, like I mentioned before, I wanted a space where I could just chill and not have so many distractions and be comfortable. So in my guest room, I have like an L-shaped desk, and I have all of my stuff on there. In the closet, I keep my supplies. I bought something for under the table where I keep supplies as well. So it's, that means a lot, because it gives me that space just to kind of just be to myself, by myself.
Yeah.
Unless, like I said, the dogs are interrupting me. But
yeah. Let's talk about your dogs real quick.
Oh, gosh.
You have how many?
I have 3 big dogs.
And what are they?
So they're all pit bulls. Honey is my first baby girl. I got her when she was 3.5 months old. She was in a house fire.
Oh.
And
so you rescue her?
Yeah, so it was through my sister Jessie.
Yeah.
One of her clients had her, and like I said, there was a house fire, and they were placed in a hotel. And the dog Honey had a lot of anxiety, so she, she broke the bathroom door, and the girl was like, "I can't have her," So she sold her to me for $300, and she could have
Honey bunny.
She probably could have sold her to me for more, because we were looking for a pet at that time. And so, I've had her since she was 3 months old. She's going to be 4 in July. She gave us a litter of 10 puppies a year ago. And of that litter, I kept one.
And I kept one as well.
Yeah. And in addition to that, I have a bulldog pit bull mix. Her name is Cuba. And she came from my ex's family's house, and that's my girl. But those are my companions. They keep me company. They're good.
And you only have
no.
I
you
have
have
2
more?
dogs. So she has Cynic, which is one of Honey's babies, and then I have a boy. His name's Thor, and he's like almost the same color as Honey. He's like a blonde brown color. He has beautiful like hazel green eyes.
Yeah. He has his mama's looks.
Yeah, and then I have a boxer, and her name's Roxy, and she's 1.5. Thor just turned 1, so I have 2 under 2.
Yeah. So a handful.
2. You have 3, yeah.
Yeah, so Honey's gonna be 4 in July. Cuba turned 1 in February, and Cynic just turned 1 on April 20th. So yeah, it's
It's eventful.
It's quite the adventure, Yeah,
but
eventful
I love them
for sure. Yeah, but they they're my companions.
Mhm.
They keep me busy, but they definitely make life easier because
Uh-huh.
they know when to come near me. They know how to put me at ease, and they
Mhm.
know to love on me. And
Yeah, it's amazing the love that you receive from pets.
Mhm.
Like, you could have like a horrible day and you walk in and they're happy to see you.
Mhm.
They can't wait to just sit near you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just posted a video last night. I had Cynic laying on my lap, and I could feel like something, right? And when I look over, Kuba was just sitting there, just staring at me, like, "What is he doing on your lap, Mom? Like, you're my mom, And I just had to record her because it was the funniest thing. But it's like, they get jealous, they want mom time,
Right.
But they're the best, for sure.
And Zai, I just saw, I don't know if it's recently a photo shoot. You were in a yellow dress.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh my God, that was so adorable.
He's my buddy. He's so sweet. And I love my dog so much. I'm such an animal lover, like always. But like both of them kind of like fell on my lap. Like I didn't have to pay for either of them, thankfully. Roxy, we got her like randomly because she was with someone from, I think it was like one of my boyfriend Robert's dad's friends or someone he knew. And they had her. She was only 3 months, and boxers are very hyper dogs. And I think they just kind of thought, they bit off more than they could chew,
right? Because
she was so energetic, and like it's a lot more time for the boxer breed, which I was not aware of.
Yeah.
Until I got her, and then I did all the research and realized that they don't get out the puppy stage until they're 3 years old.
Okay. So you have, 1.5 years to go?
Yeah. And so they are very protective dogs. So they can be a little bit, they can come off aggressive to newcomers or like strangers when we're walking. Like she's easily triggered. And also she was kept in the basement like those first 3 months. And they do say like those first few months for dogs.
Yeah. She got a little trauma, something like that.
So I think she is like, she gets really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. She gets easily triggered, I feel, with me more because I feel she like has to, I think she feels she has to protect me, which is not as bad when she's with Robert. But we've been working. I've been training her. I take treats out when I walk her. Yeah. She's on a leader leash, if people want to pet her, I say like, I'm training her now. And please don't pet.
But she's a sweetheart because I just went to their house and, I think is like she said, if it's someone that she doesn't know, it's more so like that. Like she needs to feel her way through it. But when she sees me, she goes nuts. She's a sweetheart. And, months could go by that I don't see her. Yeah. And when she sees me, it's never, a problem. And she just had her over at the house with the other dogs. And someone asked me, ironically, yesterday, wait, are all those dogs yours? Because it was my 3 and her 2. While I was on vacation, they came to stay for the day with them. And I said, no, only 3 are mine and the other 2 are my daughters. And they were like, and they get along? And I was like, yeah, they do. Yeah. Surprisingly that, they're all.
Yeah, she's great. We take them to the dog park, like my 2. We take them to the dog park quite often. So, like, she's sociable, like she is. It's just more when I'm walking her, I notice, like, she walks me. Like, I don't walk her. So I'm trying to get, like, that routine of things with her. It's hard. Right. Because, she's big. She's not a little doggy. She's not a little chi-chi. She is.
Yeah, it might be, like, I feel like dogs... Well, pets overall, like, right, if we can keep them happy, but we can also control them well enough to be able to be around others, that it's kind of like, I don't know if that saying that they say happy wife, happy life, but I feel like happy pet, happy life, because I've had pets where it's been difficult to control the pet and whatnot, and you have, like, for me, pets is like you're rescuing them, you're giving them a life, and then that means they're part of the family. So that also means, do I need training? Do I need to go here? Do I need to invest in a couple of classes? Because that could be helpful,
Right. So, like I mentioned, all of mine are pit bulls, and they have a bad stigma. Like people, they already think, like, they see a pit bull and they think,
Right.
oh, do I need to worry, And even people have said to me, you don't worry about the dogs around your grandkids. And I'm like, complete opposite.
The kids grew up around the dog.
Yeah, like I have pictures of Micah, my grandson, from the time he was like a year and a half old, just laying with the dogs. Like, they are amazing dogs. It's all how you raise them.
Yeah,
and
you have
how
to socialize.
Yeah,
Right. So let's pivot into, I don't know, like what do we talk about next? Like, I know, you said a very nice story, and you too, about how you got to your hobby, how you got there. And because I feel like everybody has a story about, it's just that sometimes some people don't realize that they have a story.
Yeah.
But what kind of message do you have maybe for other people who are looking for hobbies to do, and or a side hustle to get going? Because for some people, side hustles could turn into businesses.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let me be careful. I'm like, I speak with my hands, and I'm about to.
It's a Puerto Rican.
I'm about to dump the water. So, so like, what do you like? What for somebody getting started? What would you say to them?
So as for myself, honestly, it was that just happened because this person that gifted me the machine with the whole intent of, I have a hobby and I like to focus on that. And I know that you don't like doing what I do. So why don't I, I'm going to gift this to you because I see that you like to do things like manual things. I would always decorate my tree. I've made things, my own ornaments. So he knew that I did stuff like that. And when he gifted it to me at first, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But definitely when I got into it, it was like, okay, like.
So you just said something very powerful. Be open. Be open to possibilities.
Absolutely.
And I think like we need to explore, like, what do I like? We like something. Sometimes we just don't realize it.
Like my sister loves to cook. And she's always said that she would love to like have like a little side hustle, cooking. And of course she's a nail tech and she does that as for a living. But I know that my sister, that's one thing that she has a passion for. Food.
It's in her ham on Thanksgiving.
She cooks really good. Always she's
baked mac and cheese.
Salad. Yeah, shout out to my sister. Yeah, but literally. I think if someone already has like a little knack with something, like I know some people that love photography, right? That enjoy, like I've noticed that Zahira's boyfriend, so Robert too. Robert has done simple photos of like my dogs in my backyard, and I'm like, boy, you just have an eye,
Yes.
And I think sometimes we don't see the potential that we have, but then someone can bring that to light, which is what happened in my case, where someone just said, hey, maybe this will be something that you'll enjoy. And so I know that Robert, same thing, so I think
he's very artistic. He has such a good eye.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it has to do with, knowing, what you like to do besides your normal, like daily hustle, right? So we know that most of us have to get up every day to go to work and to kind of focus. And we spend more time at work than we do probably with our own families, right?
Correct. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so there is something, always in someone that they enjoy doing, right? So, and sometimes we don't even realize it until someone kind of says, hey, you could do something like this. Like, this is something that you could excel at, right? Like, she also does amazing makeup. She knows how to do hair.
Yes, I've seen that. Oh my God, yes.
So she knows how to braid. She knows how to do hair. Shoot, she just became my waxer.
Yeah.
And so like, there's just people that are just talented, naturally, and it takes one person to kind of say, hey, you should do this. Like,
right. I just went to a sorority. 30 years of my sorority.
Wow.
So we just celebrated like at a restaurant. But it was funny as I'm sitting and, where everybody's chatting, and I forget what it was. Somebody said, oh, I don't let's go here. And then like, well, I don't drink. And I'm like, that's okay. I can make you mocktails. And I'm like, I have a bartending license. And did you know that? I'm like, then this is, I'm not surprised. This is, you do a lot of different things. And it's because
aren't you like ordained too to like marry people?
Yes.
Do you want to marry me with Robert?
Yes, I do. Yes,
I would actually love that.
I look at like I love learning.
Like a some type of ring on you. Yeah. Still bear.
I love learning, so I continuously like challenge myself, and because I recently retired, I'm like, I have to do something, but I want to do something that I can do on my own time, because I also suffer from certain conditions. So even though like at this moment I could be fine, but in 2 hours I may not. So, this is something that's how I got to podcasting.
And you love to plant as well, right? You have plants.
Oh yes, I do gardening in the summer.
She's a jack of all trades.
I love
to juggle.
I love gardening. So I encourage people to like be open, and go and test something, and you're not gonna know until you do it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? That's not for me. I've done so many things like that, and I'm like, that's not for me. Yeah.
But you've tried.
And I think, like you mentioned earlier, we come from a family that's very talented, right? So we come from a family that we have seamstresses, and we have bakers, and we have barbers and cosmetologists. And my mom used to be an esthetician, and also she did makeup art. And so we just have genetically, right? We are already predisposed to like do stuff like that, and so
Singers.
Right. Jaylani has an amazing voice. Yeah. So, I think it just takes someone to kind of like encourage someone else, right? Because not always do we know or
even inspire you. Right. Like Mama inspired me to do it. Right. And now I love it. And whenever I'm doing it, I think of her all the time, because I'm like, this is the piece I'm sure she felt when she did this.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And just like example, Jaylani, like every time we have like a gathering, we say, you need to sing, or like when I get married, I want you to sing for me, at my wedding, because you just have to bring that out of someone. Like,
and Alondra plays the instruments, the cello. And she does the keyboard.
I'm telling you.
And you just need to get one of those.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
That would be everything.
The ones you ride onto that you feel in action.
In fact, I'm gonna order it for you.
Aww.
Yes, you have to.
I am.
Thank you.
I promise. For having us, it's gonna be our
thank you so much for having us again.
Oh my God, Ali, you are definitely gonna accident.
Water. Okay. So
sorry.
So going back into like just inspiring, you mentioned something about inspiring too earlier, and one of the things I feel that as human beings, and talking about the t-shirts and our messages, I feel altogether we got to think in a bigger role. Kind of, we got to look at the whole picture. These are the kind of things, when we put positive messages, are also the kind of things we could be telling people, and be more kind, especially for the people, that show up for you. And then when you see that they're struggling, check them out. But that's also when you say, hey, maybe you need a hobby, because a hobby takes your mind off of things. Yeah. And then, it's like, well, what do? I don't know what to do. Well, let's start checking, or why don't you start checking? Let's, you could Google hobbies.
I was just going to say, the internet is so powerful, I could tell you, like, was it yesterday on my lunch break? So yesterday on my lunch break, I decided just to step out of the house because I work from home. And I went back on my deck, and I was trying to figure out, because I'm actually making shirts for her brother, because he also has a business. He has
shout out Victor's Kitchen Platters.
He has an LLC, so he cooks and he caters for activities and so on. And I've been wanting to make him t-shirts. I couldn't figure for the life of me how to do this one thing. And just yesterday, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to just YouTube this. There has to be a way. Yes. And sure enough, like these people at Cricut, were like, oh, you just have to create the square and then create a frame, and you just have to slice it. And I followed that, and I did it. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I figured it out. And now I know what to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the internet is so powerful. There's so many things out there that you could pick up on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you could Google like what are some of the top hobbies? What are hobbies in the water? What are hobbies outside? I mean, walking can be a hobby and it could be
Absolutely.
good for you.
Mhm.
You know, it's good for your body.
People even dog walk as a hobby.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. But I think we do need to, you know, get as human beings, we just need to do something different that brings us joy besides you know, basically it's balancing your life besides just going to work,
Yeah.
you know, and
You
coming
have to.
home and then taking care of, you know, we all got to do that kind of stuff, right? We all got the bills, we all got the,
Right.
you know, cars need to get checked and all of that, but let's do something that's just for us that
Right.
you know, whether it's making jewelry like you do, Zai, because while you're making that, you're thinking about the person you're making it for.
Always, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you maybe incorporate prayers in it, like as
Mhm.
you're making things for people or good vibes, you know, and
Yeah.
as you're doing things like that, and you as well, you know, you talked about, you know, just being in your zone and that moment is just you and the creation together. So, you know,
And I can get stuck for hours. And that's how I knew I
That's
loved
great.
it, because sometimes I'll start
Yeah.
and I'll go, okay, I'm going to start at this time and I'm
You'll
going to
try
make
to
this.
time yourself.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm looking through all my beads and my charms. And, oh, I never did anything with this. And, oh, I forgot I'm supposed to make that. And then it's 3 a.m. and I have to wake up at 7.
I don't know how she does it. I don't know
I'm
how
like,
she does it. She'll say, "Mom, I was up till 2, 3 in the morning." I'm like, "Girl, I could never."
you're
Yeah.
young.
Never.
Stop. You need your sleep. That's
Right,
important. Sleep's
right,
important. But I mean, don't stop, you know, having
Doing
your
what you
joy
love,
and doing what you
yeah.
love.
mhm.
Right.
But make sure maybe start it earlier so that you can get to
It's so
sleep
hard.
earlier.
She's nuts.
Yeah.
She's nuts.
It's hard because
She is nuts.
I also love to work out and stuff. I haven't been on it as much as I want to because of transitioning from work to school, and now I'm like trying to do jewelry when I'm done with school and take care of the dog. So it's
Yeah.
like really hard to
Balancing,
do it all.
Yeah.
But I was like going to work, then going to the gym because it was right in the basement of my job, thankfully. So it was just an elevator down. And then I would go home, cook, and then do some jewelry. And so like by that time, I'm already done taking care of the dogs, done making dinner. It's already like 8:30.
Yeah. It's life, man.
Yeah.
Life.
But
It's
like
like
she said, she gets so like she's so invested, and she
You're on
just
a roll,
becomes-
too.
and she just
Yeah.
zones out, you know. And she
Yeah,
one
yeah.
day she told me, she was like, "Mom, this is literally like therapy for me," you
Mhm.
know. And so when she said that to me, it really hit home because it does become
Mhm.
like therapy, because it gives you that opportunity to just, you know, zone out, and it also gives you an opportunity to like reflect and
Be with
really-
yourself.
Yeah, be
Mhm.
with yourself for sure.
Without
yeah.
a TV playing,
Right.
without
Right.
something really, like you're really there in that moment in your thoughts
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what you're doing. And so
true. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
And
really-
she's like honestly, she is like my voice of reason, because you know, I've been struggling lately, and she's like, "Mom, you just have to get more into doing what you like to do on
Mhm.
your off time," you know. And so, you know, she constantly is encouraging me to do that. So I always say thank God for her, because she's like
Love you.
my voice of reason, you know. And so
It's good to have that.
Mhm.
I have
24, and it's like I'm like, she is just so full of wisdom, and so I just appreciate her so much, because she has gotten me out of some
Yeah.
ugly funks, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks to her, you know, I've been able to like kind of just then refocus and, you know, focus and get back on track, because if not, I would probably go nuts. But
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. Like for me, I got sick recently, and like I caught this bacterial virus, which
Oh
is
my
what is
God.
it?
They're
We don't know. We don't
viral.
know what it is, so we're gonna call it that, right? But
Mhm.
it was like it knocked me down for like several weeks, and I'm just getting back on my feet.
Mhm.
But then I had to, like, my ear was completely blocked, so I
Oh,
couldn't edit.
Oh my God, that's the
And
worst.
so I was off. I didn't do anything. And so I was in this kind of funk. It's like, wait a minute. So like on Monday, I got up. I'm like, nope, listen, I got to do this. I got to get a schedule going. So, you know, that's important. Like we talk
Girl,
about
I
life,
look
but
up to you, because you know,
Yeah.
you are constantly on the go, and
well, thank you.
yeah. because you know, and we spoke about this because I was like, you know, I feel like I don't get enough out time, you know, outside time, and so I think it makes a big difference when you expose yourself to outdoor activities. And
isolation is a real thing, and we're all still getting back from that.
Yeah,
from COVID.
This is very true.
And I was like Patrick underneath a rock.
I mean, I know people that are still like kind of like isolated, I guess. So,
you know, I wanted to work from home, right? Yeah. I wanted it. I wanted it so bad, you know, but my circumstances back then were so different. I had people living with me. I had my son and my ex living with me. So it's very different when you have movement at home, right? So you know that your son is going to get up and he's going to go to work. And then when he gets home, you're going to have that activity and that movement at home. And then, you know, now I'm like truly like an empty nester. So it makes a big difference. So now I'm working from home and I so look forward to Thursdays because it's when I go into the building. So, you know, it's nice to get out and to do things. So I think now that the weather's getting better, it'll get better for probably a lot of us.
We'll go on our Menchie's dates.
Yeah.
We love a Menchie's.
We're going to Kalahari next week.
Oh, next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. The network gave us tickets.
Nice.
And I've never gone. Have you?
No, I've never been.
I've never
been.
No.
Yeah. You know, so it's an indoor water park in the Poconos, and the network gifted us 2 tickets each.
Yeah, we had an option to pick from whatever.
And like Dorney, and I was like, not Dorney.
I seen pictures because the one time I looked it up and I seen pictures and said it looked awesome.
Yeah, they have like a swim up bar, and they said that there's like an outside pool that like you can swim through from the inside. They have like a little lazy river, it looks like. So I'm gonna be living my best life.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I kind of I made that.
Who in the network doesn't want their ticket? I'll take it.
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
That's a goal for me right now. To get back on track, to get out more. I was in a point where there was really nothing going on. It was always at home. I worked from home. I didn't go out. I worked from home. I didn't go out. And that needs to change.
One of the things, I worked in higher ed. And so one of the things I did was I used to tell my especially the students that I advise, it's like, you have to be your own cheerleader. It's hard.
You do.
But you have to be your own cheerleader. Like for me, it was like on Monday, I said, Addie, you need to get up and you need to figure out a schedule where you're going to edit like maybe an hour in the morning, maybe an hour at night before you go to sleep, and then leave it at that so that, you don't mess up your vision, so that, and like, I find that it's like when something disrupts my life, like getting sick, I still need it throws a wrench, and so I need to get back in, and then it takes me several weeks. And believe it or not, there are studies out there that have been done about multitasking, that it takes you off. You all of a sudden you stop something, especially when you're at work, and it takes.
I'll be putting my next sock on and be like, oh.
So it takes 15 minutes. So once you're interrupted, it takes 15 minutes to get back on track.
Oh, wow.
So
it disrupts that.
Right. So which is one of the things I used to say at work. Well, everybody wants you to multitask, but then we're not mastering anything.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right. But let's not, that was just a monkey wrench taken in there. Right. But it's about us like having to be our own advocate and right. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I got to get up and go for a walk because I haven't walked. Like I didn't walk yesterday and I can't just stay here, So that's why when we had our conversation, I kept saying, you got to go and when it's, especially when it's sunny, get that air.
You feel better. You feel better. Your body loves it.
Your body is pumping. It's, the blood is flowing and your endorphins, are awakened, and you do feel better, and try to do that. But, going out can be also expensive. Right. But when we talk about self-care, like try to do something that maybe is not going to be as expensive. Like there's going to be free concerts going on at parks
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I posted on my personal Rose Garden, Steel Stacks, everywhere. Like go to that. You know, there's lots of things to do that you don't need, you know, like a lot of money for, especially if you're on a budget or anything like that. And you know, try to treat yourself that way so that you go out and, you know, and try to support other, you know, that's how you get network. Try to support other folks, you know. There's lots of events that are going to be happening in the summer.
I'm
lots
excited.
and lots and lots.
Music
here.
Fest. I love Music Fest.
Yeah. So I'd say, you know, get up and be your own cheerleader, but as a side hustle, as a business, as anything you do have to like cheer you on and say, hey, Addie, wake yourself up. Or in your case, you know, you have each other and you can say, hey.
I can tell you literally, I think it was Saturday, I had already, you know, promised that I was going to make some shirts for someone, for my best friend. And I was just in such a rut, you know, and I finally got up and I said, okay, no, you know, you need to get up, you need to do this. And that's what I did. I got up, I went to the room, I brought the dogs up with me, and I just went to town. I was in that room for 4.5 hours making t-shirts. But, you know, after I was done, I was like, I felt accomplished. You know, I felt like I did something.
Yes.
And like, it took my mind off of what it was at, you know what I mean? And it was so refreshing because my mind was just going in circles into things that I really, you know, have no control over. You know what I'm saying? So like, at least going and doing that, it was something that I had control over and that I could focus and do what I like to do. You know?
Right. You got control over when do we get started.
Right.
You know, when do we get started? So, you know, you're like, boom, let's do this now. And
then
like you said,
the result was dope. You know, it was dope. Just seeing the result. I was like so proud of the outcome. So I immediately posted it on social media because I love the way that they turned out. So yeah.
And it takes your mind off of it. It takes your mind off of it. Absolutely. Like you said, you're in there, you're one. But you know, this is amazing. I have, you know, nothing but love for you guys, and
I love you too.
I hope I look forward to seeing you guys at church and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you don't have something that you feel you don't enjoy, okay, because everyone can get into a job because it pays better than what they previously were doing, and maybe what you did then you liked more than what you do now, but for that paycheck you made that decision to change your life. Like, find something you do enjoy and you do love. Like, you know, I love to ask that about people when I meet them. What do you love to do for you? That's my favorite thing to ask someone.
It could be makeup, putting on makeup.
Right.
Exactly. You know? Like going on a walk or
planting, like gardening. Exactly. It could be that. You know?
I love to hear what people love to do, because then sometimes people sit and go, I don't know what I love to do.
I love shopping, but that gets me in trouble.
That gets everybody in trouble. That gets everybody in trouble.
I'm like, okay, I know that but that's now, like therapy, but no.
Now we do thrifting.
Yeah.
Hello, shout out to thrifting.
Oh, that's called thrifting.
Oh my gosh, shout out to thrifting. Hello, thrifting.
Thrifting. We do it all the time. Well, not all the time. Not as much as I would like to, but it's so cool to
totally. I would love to hang and do that. Like, I do it with other friends.
I used to go by myself, and then I told her, come with me. Call me. Because I started showing her all the good stuff I got, and she's like, oh my gosh, you know, people compliment my shirt or my skirt or my anything, and I go, thrift store, thank you, $4.
Yes,
$3, $4. One time I got pants for $1.
Just recently I got stuff for the house, decorations that I'm actually doing other stuff to it. So like, it's, for instance, I have these wooden arrows that I bought for like 99 cents. Nice. And so I'm gonna paint them, and then I'm gonna put some of my vinyl on them and hang them up on my wall. So
I'm like envisioning that. That could look dope.
Or like refurbishing. Like, you've done some refurbishing yourself.
I did refurbish chairs.
Me too.
Yes.
So they were IKEA chairs that I got at Habitat for Humanity Restore. It's in Whitehall. I picked those up, and I had, like, honestly, an $800 dining room set, beautiful, from Ashley Furniture. And I was like, yeah, that's not what I want. Like, I don't need all that. And I just got a round table for $13.
Yeah.
Each chair, I think, cost me $7.99 a piece.
I saw it when you posted it.
I reupholstered the cushions. I put extra cushion and painted the table. And super simple, but, you know, it's what I like. you know, and it's something that I did.
So I got involved with like refurbishing things through COVID. I was packing during that time because I was moving. I was going to sell my house, and so I used that time to pack everything. I kept putting boxes in the garage, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, there's my mom's nightstand. I could
do
refurbish,
that.
and that's the nightstand that's downstairs that looks like with the crystal knobs and
yes.
So I totally get it, and again, talking about it could be something. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do all the time. It could be like you just, hey, it's the spring, and this is when you're gonna do this. You know,
I'm looking forward to doing my garden right now.
So you know that and the thrifting for sure.
Oh, we got to do it then.
It's a date. You just saw this happen.
Yes. I have gotten like some really good like name brand pants, and I was like, oh my god, I've always wanted something like this.
Absolutely.
And just like for a few bucks. Yeah. So definitely, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get together and
we're gonna get trinkets because I love trinkets.
Oh my god,
I do. I love
She's an old soul,
the old lady trinkets. I swear,
she loves the viejita sweater.
Yes,
every time I go, I want to get a little trinket because I think that was at someone's house for so many years that probably they loved. Cute. And so that, like, we bring it back to the beginning when you said like those things hold like. Those things, those certain gifts or treasures, you know, because they feel like a treasure to you. And I definitely hold on to a lot of sentimental value with all like my things. I'm definitely a material girl. Yeah, definitely.
She was gonna say a hoarder. I was gonna say no.
No. I would say I try to be a minimalist, but I'm not at all. I'm a maximalist for sure.
I've been trying to minimalize lots of things, and I've given lots of things away. It's a process, like a yearly process, because you end up buying other stuff, and then you're like,
you don't want to get rid.
You don't. There's certain things that just have, you know, you're
closet.
emotionally attached to. And stuff like
I'm emotionally attached to clothes that don't fit me for 3 years. Like I'm. It's time. You know, it's time for me to list.
Oh my god.
Let them go. Put them in somebody's hands. You know. Give them away, you know, which I normally do too.
Well, hopefully when we get together thrifting, you've already gone through your closet or at least started
and then we can take stuff with us. Yes. We can take so we can get.
That's a good idea.
Right. I've actually sold some of my hats. As you can see, I have a collection of hats, but I also use them as like sound, buffers.
Yeah.
But I went to a local consignment store, and I sold some hats and stuff like that. So yeah, you could try to do that, and at the end of it all, you could try to give it away to people that you know.
I was just gonna say, so she knows that since they were little, I would always go. So if we're season changes, I would always go through their closets and their drawers. I would get bags ready, and I would just donate them. Because to me, like she said, to me, it's knowing that it's going to serve somebody else. You know what I mean? That it's going to serve somebody that needs it. And
I get rid of it and I go, oh, I know someone's going to love this outfit.
Yeah. And I
get rid of it.
I make sure that it's stuff that it's in good condition. So it just makes me feel good. It warms my heart to know that it's someone that is probably in need of that, is going to be able to enjoy it.
I've done that. I usually do that too. But thank you. Thank you for being on the Attitude Lounge.
Yes,
I know,
absolutely.
thank you. And sometime in the future we can get together again and do it. I
was so anxious, and this turned out to be so
No,
nice.
it's so chill. Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah. So I have dreams for you, and that is retirement coming, planification, and maybe minimalizing your closet. My dreams for you are that you're going to shine, you're going to finish your program, your current program that you're in school, you're going to shine, you're going to go back to work, you're going to have a different journey, but also expand on what you love to do, which is your jewelry. And hopefully as you progress, you might want to turn it into a business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would dream to have a boutique.
Yeah.
That would be something I love.
Listen.
But starting with where you said going to the fairs, getting a table, and for that, you need to start, and I could tell you about that because I've done figures.
Oh, yes.
But educational, but you need to order your banner, you need to have certain things there on the table, but also, your art. And go from there. You explore. So you're going to be exploring 2024. We're going to take 2024 like it's ours. We're going to own it, and we're going to move forward.
We have to.
Moving forward, yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby.
All right.
We enjoyed our time with you. Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget to like the
That's
podcast.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Show her some love.
follow
She put a
us.
lot of love into this space.
I can't wait to see the outcome so that I could just start sharing, and putting it out there.
Yeah. And for you, since it's your hobby, you don't have anybody, or do you have somebody that you want to, do you want to tell the listeners, where they can find some of your hobbies and what they do?
Oh, yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm Cupid's Jewels, Cupids_Jewels, ending with a Z for Jewels. You can find me there. And I also am on TikTok, but I don't know if it'll be banned by when you listen to this.
There's so much talk about TikTok.
So
oh my God.
that is Zainorani.
Yeah.
Zainorani.
Yeah. So, well, there you have it. And yes, don't forget to follow the Attitude Lounge and Instagram and Facebook and hopefully in YouTube.
To the development of it,
Yes.
And to see it grow.
Hey, step by step and
reaching lives and encouraging others. Yeah, for sure.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. It's a wrap.
Se acabó.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
That was so fun.